Colin with Colin's Backstage Pass, where every week we sit down with bands and venues and music folk here in the Lake Norman area. And this week I'm so happy and excited and grateful, and it's taken a long time to get him here. Well, welcome my boys from Orange Plush. Guys, how you doing?
Thanks for having us, Colin.
And they got student background. Sorry.
Ransom is sick today.
I was going to ask that. Yeah, I know we're missing one, so we hope Lance recovers in time for the next show. That's the plan. Gotcha. I really appreciate you guys taking some time. I'm guessing it's rehearsal night, and there's always to be a rehearsal, so I am not surprised by that. It's awesome. So let's kind of dive in. I want to kind of go around the room and have you guys introduce yourselves to the fans, and then we'll get into kind of what started all this for you guys. Not just the band, but what got you into music. So, Justin, you want to go first since you're on my left?
Absolutely. Justin, guitar player here in Orange Plush. I've been with the band for about 1.5 years now. I started playing guitar when I was like 12 years old. Got a guitar for Christmas one year, and that was it. I was looked at ever since. I've played guitar ever since.
What was the music that got you into the playing guitar piece?
There's a lot of it. Ozzy.
Wow.
Led Zeppelin.
I'm not that old. Come on now.
I'm not, but that's what I really enjoyed. That was all really guitar driven stuff. So when I heard that, I wanted to something like that. What got me into it?
Fantastic. So he's been playing, what, 10 years, guys?
I'm not that long.
Oh, I know. Fair enough. All right, Kevin. That will start for you, my friend.
All right. Hey, guys. My name's Kevin. So I started the band with Joe here, I guess 2.5 years ago. Great. I don't really have any kind of musical background. I play a little guitar. I play a little drums, but not good enough to play with these guys. Just focus on the vocals. Never been in a band in my life. As of starting right before this band, I was in a duo for a couple of years. But aside from that, never been in a band in my life. Always dreamed about it. Always thought, I could do it. Always thought I wanted to do it. But the opportunity kind of never came up. So I'm pretty pumped to be in this band.
You had no musical background. You decided to start a band, and you realized you were a better singer than an instrument player, it sounds like. So how did that, what made that kind of come to be?
Yes. I have a neighbor, Sean, who I had a duo with, and Sean was a guitar player, and we were kicking around one night just playing guitar, and we started jamming, and he's like, dude, like, you should start singing. Forget about the guitar. You suck on that. You should just focus on singing. So I started doing that. And before we knew it, we were, going around to local bars and like getting paid to play music. It was awesome. So I just kind of fell into it. And yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Wow. You're like what's the movie where the guy comes out of nowhere and becomes the lead singer of a band? What was that, Rockstar?
Yeah.
You're the guy? That's awesome. I love it. All right, Joe, you big knucklehead. I've known you for years. My fellow Long Islander.
Long Island.
Tell us your story and don't leave anything out.
When I was growing up, like in high school, junior high school, actually, my brother was like 3 years older than me, and he was in a band playing guitar in a band called Outlandish Request on Long Island. I was like, that's what I wanted to do. I learned how to play bass to hopefully be in a band with him, and then since junior high school, I've been playing. Like, this has been part of my life, part of my DNA now. Moving back here, I moved here about, I think this is my 19th year being in North Carolina. And before I moved here, I was in a band full time for about 12 years, played 4 or 5 nights a week, and it was ridiculous. And then, coming here, I've been in several bands, and now finally I've found the band to be in, and I'm very excited about it.
It's awesome. So did you self-train or did you take music lessons, bass lessons?
I did take some lessons. And, I was like in high school, I was like a jazz band. So I learned how to read music and started playing that way and getting on to making myself better and better, I guess, and just learning more and more. And then, then I plateaued and stopped practicing guitar with stuff. But now, as I get older, I'm finding my groove more. And I'm, very excited about, the progress, not only in my playing, but being in a band like this. So,
yeah. Finding your groove is an understatement, my friend. But yeah. Kevin, you said you put the band together, but how did you gather? How do you find guys to just sing with and create a band? What's the young folks that are looking now, they're like, I want to start a band. I want to do what he just did. How do you do that? Like, how does that come together? What do you look for?
Yeah, you find a guy like Joe to put an ad on Facebook. You respond to that ad. And then the guy calls you back like 10 seconds after you respond to that ad. And then you talk for an hour about starting a band together. That's how it goes.
When I got Kevin's message, I was so giddy. Sure, what he's calling? Because I reached out to a bunch of people that I've already played with. And I was thinking about this after the interview and talking about the difference between the Lake Nolan music scene versus, let's say, the Charlotte music scene. And that's really what I knew mostly was the Charlotte music scene. It's just a different vibe. And I hit up a bunch of people saying, hey, this is the kind of music I want to play. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And then when they posted that on the Facebook ad about it, Kevin responded. I looked up where, the band that he was talking about, or the duo that he had. I said, ooh, this guy can sing. All right, well, this is going to be great. And then my boyfriend's there.
Dude, I was in a meeting. At the time for my workplace. I'm sitting there on Zoom, and I had to join the meeting right then. But I was like, oh my God, I got to respond to this ad ASAP before too many other people respond. And so I was like, man, should I do it? Oh, yeah, whatever. Who cares? So responded to it right away. And then Joe called me. Meeting started. Joe called me. I'm like, oh no, what do I do? So I think I skipped the meeting and talked to Joe in my driveway for now.
I reached out to a bunch of people that I had played with. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Because I just wanted to play simple stuff. Just fun party rock songs and stuff like that. And when Kevin got in touch, I was like, yeah, let's do this, bro.
So that's the other obvious question is how do you decide what music you want to play? I mean, there's so much from the 70s, 80s, 90s, into the 2000s. You decide you're going to pick a genre, if you will, and you go, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're putting 100% into it. How do you come to that conclusion?
In our case, during our conversation, Joe was like, this is what I want to do. I want, you start rattling off band names.
Green Day, Fall Out Boy, that kind of stuff. I want it to be
Linkin Park.
That.
And Beastie Boys, and I'm like, dude, that's what I want to do too. It just immediately we were on the same page with that. I mean, from the get-go, from phone calls.
So we've evolved since then. You know what I mean? We started out with wanting to be one style, and then once I heard Kevin rapping, I'm like, we got to add some more rapping. And it was just great. And then when Justin the Lads came in, it was just a whole other revitalization of the band, and it was just like, oh shit, we could do so much more. This is great. So I'm very, we're all very excited. I don't want to speak for everybody else, but we're all very excited, being in this band, but having this lineup.
I'm going to get to the Justin and Lance thing in a second, but how did you come up with the name?
Right. So the story, this is the only story that might take a little bit of time. All right. You got to hang with Grill.
You only got 22 minutes, but that's okay.
In the old lineup, we were going back and forth. So we had the lineup, we knew what we wanted to do. We knew the songs we wanted to do, but we couldn't come up with a name. And so we were a month in, texting each other every night. What about this? We couldn't agree on anything. And Joe hears anything is a good band name. Hey, Oscar, give me 2 beers. Joe would be like, oh, that's a good band name. Brandon, Oscar, 2 beers.
So I came up with Orange Sewer Cat. I'm like, oh, this would be great. Orange Sewer Cat's a great name for a band. Funny.
So that was one of the list of a million. Orange Sewer Cat. We get into 2 months and we have gigs coming up. We're trying to book. We don't have a name yet. And so at one point, I was just like, God, fuck it. Orange Sewer Cat it is. It has to be because nothing else can work. That's what it is.
Because the first song we ever played together was Plush. And Kevin's like, we need a fun song. No, I want to put Plush in there.
So Orange Sewer Cat was it for a period of time. And Joe and I were talking. We're like, oh my God, we'll have stuffed cats and we'll throw them out to the crowd. We'll have this raggedy ass cat that will put a cigarette in his mouth. And we'll use this cat, he'll be our mascot. So we had all these ideas. So we slept on it a night. And then the next day I was like, guys, we can't be Orange Sewer Cat. That in Boulevard. You're not going to see Orange Sewer Cat on the marquee at Boatyard. It's just not going to work. You got the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Orange Sewer Cat. Yeah. So finally, one night I'm sitting there and I'm like, what could go with Orange? What could go with some of these songs? And I'm like, all right, Orange. The first song we played together was Plush. I'm like, Orange Plush. It sounds like Orange Crush. We've got this plush cat. Joe, Orange Plush. He goes, did you just name the band? I think so. I was so pissed because I wanted to be the guy to name the band.
All right, Kev, I'll give this to you.
No, it works. It's fantastic. And we'll get to the Oscar thing in a minute. But Justin, so you're just hanging out playing guitar. And then how did you find out about these guys? What made you decide to join this, whatever you want to call it, batch of knuckleheads or whatever?
I've been in other groups. I've been in other groups, playing I've tried a little bit of everything. I've played country, classic rock, alt rock, I've done everything. I started to see the Orange Plush when they started to blow up, and the thing they had that I loved was the hip hop element. That's one thing that, like, as I grew up, hip hop was huge. I loved like alt rock and I loved it. And I could never find a group that was interested in, any hip hop. When I saw what they had, this is perfect. Like this band is playing all the songs I want to play. Problem is they have a guitar player. So I friended Joe and just waited. I was doing my own thing, for a long time. And then eventually I saw Joe put the thing up, said, hey, we're looking for lead guitar. And I messaged him right away. And a lot like he said, I got a phone call almost immediately. And we talked for over an hour. This is how it worked with Joe. And I met these guys like a week after, and it was, they offered me the job on the spot. And it was, we knew immediately. Perfect. Well, I think the big thing, like, we need to ask about how do you choose what genre you do. It's just got to be stuff that you're interested in. Got to be like fun to you. And if it's not, then you're not going to, it's not going to work out. You'll burn out on it really quickly.
So as the new guy, what is that? You come into a established band, you fill a spot, you're the new guy. What's that first show like?
Our show was incredible. Micaiah's, it was great. I mean, their following is so huge, and they had been off for a long time, so there was all this hype around, oh my God, they're, and then just that first show, that energy in the room and everything was awesome. Great.
Love it. That's a great story. I love that story. All right. So we talked about the cat story, but how did Oscar get a name, and how did he become such an iconic part of the band?
We figured we needed something with an O. The Orange Plush, Oscar was kind of a name for it, right?
So I think you were even ready.
Right. For my wife, yeah.
So I think they came up with the name, but for the logo, we knew we wanted that ragged ass, the orange sewer cat as the logo or the mask. So I put it on Fiverr, like the website Fiverr. I think I spent $20 on that logo. And so the dude came back, I don't know, a couple days later, and he's here, something like this. I was like, yes, it was perfect. $20 spent, got a fun ass logo. And then we were like, all right, let's go.
There it is.
Let's go ahead and get it.
So that the cat on the logo is different than this cat. With Kevin got this sent in the mail. Once we made the Orange Plush and we had the logo with the cat, Kevin got something like this sent in the mail from somebody.
My coworker,
yeah.
She sent me in the mail this ragged ass cat, and I was like, "Oh my!"
I was like, "That is perfect."
Shove a cigarette in that cat's mouth, and that's it.
And I 3 weeks, and I get so pissed when people call him Garfield. I'm like, "No,
it's So shout out Becky. Thank you for
now I know her name."
Well done. I can tell you, every time you guys post something, I'm looking, it's almost like, where's Rollo? Where'd you put Oscar? What's his role in the video? You guys would do a really fantastic job of social media. So let me take us down that path. Obviously, right now,
that's what I love about this band too. Sorry to interrupt you. Is that we all can throw ideas out there and roll about working with each other. And a lot of times you're in a band and there's a lot of this push and pull kind of thing. Thank God don't have that. We can all work well together and everybody's got minds and ways to do things. So it's just great.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's great that you guys all come together and it's kind of a group decision. I love that. When I watch your social media though, and I feel like you do this on purpose, but this is the perception I get is you guys probably chat a little bit about what we're going to do, what we're going to say. And then you go sit down and then you turn the camera on and then nobody knows what they're going to do next. And then it's just kind of random silliness and whatever you got to say. And then you don't even know when to turn it off. Is that planned or is that like how does that happen? It's hysterical. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. But I
if there's dogging.
They should see the blooper reel for hopefully the stuff that we have. It's pretty good.
You can sell that. Absolutely. So how does that, like, is that just the way it is, or do you guys plan it that way?
We're in rehearsal, and then we're like, all right, you guys want to go film for, whatever the next place we're, okay, well, let's go film. Let's drive over to the place, stick a camera up. You got your little, phone holder. 3, 2, 1, go. That's it.
Basic rough idea of what we want to do, and then just go for it. It's your style.
Oh yeah, that's true too. There's a good bit of that. The spontaneity is fantastic, and obviously your fans love it, and so I say keep doing that. So that's awesome. So here we are. The band's had some changes. Kevin, I know you've had some, challenges that have kept you off the stage for a while. I don't know how deep you want to get into that, but so now I feel like everything's kind of back. I don't know how much you want to talk about that, but what's next for the band now after what kind of you guys have been through?
I'll go into a little bit. Like, we were off at least I was off for a little bit. I was having some vocal issues. It was basically like a pulled muscle in my neck and a throat. And, that was preventing me from being able to really go out there and perform the way I want to perform. And I wasn't going to half-ass it. I've seen every ENT, every vocal therapist, every vocal coach in Charlotte, I feel like. So I've seen a lot of people to kind of get this thing under control, and I'm in a good spot now. But while we were off, our friend Chris Counselor stepped in, who Justin knows really well, and stepped in and did a great job. Chris is a good friend, and will continue to support us, as we need. He's great.
And based on that, it's opened the doors up too for us to have me sing some leads, and we have Lance now singing songs now. So it's good to take the pressure off of Kevin a little bit, and to have us try different things.
All right. Yeah, and I know Jason from Dial Up Radio helped you guys out once or twice.
That's right. Yeah.
I love the community that you guys have, and it's not just you guys, it's everybody, and I say this all the time. Everyone's out there to help each other.
About the late Norman scene is so different. You're calling people come to see us, our fans. We look at them as being like
Friends.
They're part of the show. And
100%.
we'll say it on our stage. You're all part of the show now. Thanks so much. And then when you have other bands that you can communicate with and even do shows with, or just be excited about each other's success, it's just awesome.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Joe kind of hit on something, that I don't know if it makes us any different than anybody else or whatever, but something I always wanted was to make sure that, our friends that came, like the people that come to our show are our friends, and we welcome people on stage. You know what I mean? We got Cowbell Amy, we got Cowbell Stereo, we got people that Bridget up on stage, Bridget on the tambourine, people will come up and, do a couple songs with us or whatever. We want people to, just feel like they're part of it. For sure. You don't see us dressing up in leather pants and doing all kinds of crazy stuff on stage. No, this is what I wear every day. And this is what I wear on stage too. You know what I mean? We want everybody who comes to the show to feel connected to us. And so that's important. Right?
I think it's like for them to, check out my friend's band tonight. Kind of.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
That's what we want. And it's the same thing. I remember talking to somebody about Amy's, Amy, you had her on your show once. And I said, I'm going to see this band you fought. I'm like, you got to see them. They're amazing. And she went to go see them and fell in love with them. And it's good to be able to throw that out and let other people know, we're in Orange Plush, but check out these guys because they're awesome too. Check them out. You're going to get a really good time with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I love seeing you guys out at other band shows. I love musicians that can come out when it's an off night. And honestly, bands are busy. So it's really hard to find a Friday or Saturday where you can actually get out and go see other bands. So when I see you guys out, I think that's fantastic to support each other that way. I've been saying this for a long time. There's enough music spots around here that we can all eat. And there's enough days in the week. Everyone's playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, some Sunday fun days now, right? So if you want to play, there's opportunity. And if you're good, the venues are going to want you, right? So then it becomes, how much do we want to play? That's my next question is, how did you guys decide what the schedule is going to look like going forward now? And how does that work out for you?
Yeah, so I think last year we definitely played more shows than we did this year. We dialed it back to probably once a month, maybe a little bit more than that. We definitely don't want to be playing like too often. But, some of us in the band, me and Justin, like we don't want to play that often. But like Joe and Lance will play all the time. So like we kind of made an agreement. We'll go out, we'll do this thing once a month or so. Maybe it's going to be a couple times a month.
If something huge comes up and we can't say no to it, we'll add it out to the schedule. Like the 3 boatyard shows we have coming up this year.
Yes. Played, Joe. Played.
Yeah, love that.
All right. And I would say Langtree's a big show for you guys too. I saw that on your calendar.
We played that last year, first time, and It was a blast.
So much.
Yeah. I mean, everybody loves Langtree. And that's one of those venues where it's outside for folks that, don't know. It's outside. People start bringing lawn chairs at 4:00, right? Getting their spots figured out. And Justin and the team do a great job at Waves putting that whole thing together. And yeah, that's one of those events that I think most bands in the area want to play, at least once a year.
Also, for me personally, like that's the one that my daughter can come to. You know what I mean? Like she's 10. That's the one my son can come and jump on stage and play drums with, with us for.
Yeah.
Now that we've been out one, for one, that's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons.
Well, absolutely. So going forward, sounds like you guys are, not going 100 miles an hour on the schedule, but any changes in the music or any changes in the direction, is that the plan for the next couple of years? Or are you just going to ride this?
Yeah, Joe wants to do a bunch of wedding songs. Justin doesn't want to do the wedding songs. So there's a little bit of a
spot, Colin. You touch this.
They're not weddings. Justin being
They're not a wedding band.
Justin being so young and adorable, they said if it's not a heavy song, it's a wedding song. They're not weddings.
Maybe you should show that in one of your videos as like a rehearsal song and see what kind of feedback you get.
We'll love them. I mean, they're wedding songs because everyone loved them. I get that. I understand, but I like what we like. But yeah, I mean, we have a good mix. I'd say now of older stuff like Billy Joel's in the set list now. I mean, you would expect that from us. And, there's some other older songs that we're starting to add in now. So we're adding in some of the other stuff that you probably wouldn't think of.
And the goal, I think, for us is not to do the Don't Stop Believing and Living on Our Prayers that every single band is doing, no matter what genre they play. You know what I mean? We want to try to do something different. Obviously, we're going to the cross-pollination. We're going to be doing songs that other bands are doing to a certain extent. But, we do want to try to be a little different, and have fun with what we're doing.
Yeah, find your own lane. You guys certainly do that. There's no question. You guys certainly do that. So Joe, I got to ask you, what's the background on Somebody Scream?
It's just this. I don't know. This shit from growing up. Like I said, being in the band.
Tagline. You know it's your tagline, right?
I get it. Yeah. But Long Island, it was kind of the same feel as Orange Plush, like almost exactly. And I remember when we started, we were like the new kids, and we weren't like the most polished musicians in the scene. And looking around and seeing what the other bands are doing, I hear them, having like little taglines. I'm like, all right, lovely. And I came up with one for that band, and I guess I may have wrote it here. I don't know if I'd use it there, but whatever it is, I just had that mindset. And definitely brought it to this band. He brought this somewhere.
Well, we do that.
It's great. Works every time.
Where's in this joy work thing?
There you go. All right. So we got several minutes left, but I want to get some insight from you guys. Obviously, a lot of new bands are coming out of the School of Rock. I just interviewed Carl Gunther. He's found a lot of new talent, names that you'll recognize. So if you're talking to the next generation of musicians and you're saying, okay, this is what you got to look out for, this is what you got to plan for, this is what you got to work on, what would be your advice to the next generation from each of you? What would you say would be important things not to forget or not to miss? Let's jump in and go right ahead.
Our players out there, I would say that the audience does not care how many notes come out of your speaker. They care about how it sounds, how you look up there, if you're into it or not. So I've learned as I've gone that no one wants to see me show off, my guitar skills and scales and all of that stuff. So I'm playing for the song, I'm playing for what everyone wants to hear. And I've seen some people that are awesome, great, but the people just aren't into it because it's just not what they come out to hear. I think that was a big step for me to learn that and learn that, sometimes simpler is a lot more ear pleasing.
But don't go out to be the rock star right away, is what you're saying.
Literally.
Right.
Few moments here and there, you can have your shine or whatever, but not all night.
That's fair. Understood.
I'd say just for anybody who's halfway decent at singing out there, be confident. From my perspective, you can do it. If you can't sing, you can learn to sing. You seriously can. So anybody can, learn or, just get up there and perform and just have the confidence to do it because 5 years ago, I wasn't doing anything like this and never thought I'd see a stage in my entire life. But you absolutely can. So just have the confidence in yourself.
Nice.
And nothing.
Just
No, it's basically along the same lines that these guys are saying as well. It's, find something that you love. And the bass players, nobody wants to be a bass player. I always wanted to be a stage player, and I'm going to talk to other bass players. I'd say, definitely. Oh, did we lose you?
oh, there you go. You're back. I'll cut that out. Okay. Nobody, you said nobody wants to be a bass player. Go ahead.
Nobody wants to be a bass player. No, but musicians, I don't know. Right? Musicians as a whole, absolutely what these guys are saying, but also, find your groove, find what makes you go, what makes you give you that bass beat, what makes you get excited for it, and don't be afraid to move around on it. You don't know if you know this, I move around a little bit. I may even sweat some, and don't worry about any of that. Just have fun.
Have fun on
and
stage.
just have it be fun. Yes, it's a job. Yes, you got to work hard at it. Yes, you got to get to a certain level to do what you need to do. Absolutely. And that comes to practicing of woodshedding and all that stuff. But once you get the opportunity to play, just open up and have fun. See, I'm the guy on stage right now. It doesn't matter if I mess up. It doesn't matter if I hit the wrong note. Who cares? I'm the one on stage right now. Let me entertain you. And that's kind of the vibe that we have, I think, or at least the vibe I have.
Yeah. Well, have fun. Have fun for sure.
And have fun with each other. Have fun with the people that are in the band with you.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Find a way to get that camaraderie together.
And I say that to all the bands that I meet with and talk to is, and I use this all the time, so I'm sure people are getting sick of me saying it, but it's not like the Beatles. The Beatles were excellent musicians, but they all just kind of stood there and did their thing, right? And they became legendary and iconic. But then, the 80s and 90s kicked in and the stage got bigger probably, and the sound got better and the light show and the whole thing. And then it was more about the performance. Yes, the music had to be good. It had to sound good. It had to look good, but it had to be that exciting. I want to come out and I want to do this, for 2 hours. And so you guys absolutely do that, hands down. There's very few bands in this area that I would say is even in your category of you get the whole room going. And so it's exciting to see you all. And I'm sad sometimes you don't play as much, but I understand. I don't want to change the direction, but it's really great. And in the short period of time that you guys have made a huge impact in the Lake Norman music scene.
That goose.
Thank you so much.
No, it's just great to see you guys, get out there and have fun. And it's exciting to have you guys on here. And hopefully everyone will get a chance. Check them out, Orange Plush on Facebook. And I had the website up and I was going to not want to look, but I want to make sure it's orangeplushband.com.
And that's how you find us on the social medias too. There's our,
and they've got some videos on there and they've got some merch. I love seeing your fans and friends at your shows with your merch on. That's fantastic.
We're also doing YouTube as well. So look it up on YouTube as well. We have a bunch of different videos up there.
And there you go. And that's
probably want to see on Facebook.
Oh, there's other stuff.
Do you have a shirt? Colin, do you have a shirt?
I don't have one. I think I'm going to have to get one.
You don't have a shirt, really?
What is
You can tell.
And then we'll make sure I come see you guys. Absolutely. Jennings, it was a pleasure. We're at time. I told you this was going to go fast. Thanks for doing the drinks in the back. We could see you were getting them taken care of. It was great to see you guys. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to the next one. And we'll see you all at the next show.
Thank you, Colin.